Cuba is closer to the United States than Indianapolis is to Chicago. Yet it has been almost 60 years since Americans could legally go there. President Kennedy imposed an economic blockade and banned travel to Cuba in 1962. But in December, President Obama loosened those restrictions, meaning that more Hoosiers could soon go to see it for themselves. Now, since Americans have been kept out for so long, we wanted to get a look at what Hoosiers can expect to see in a Cuba rediscovered.
Havana is like no other place in the world. Architecture from the 1500s, American cars from the 1950s, and a sound that is timeless. Vicente Duque's band plays for foreigners every night, and the restaurant has plenty of room for more. Where you see empty seats, he sees a place for American tourists with money to spend.
It's very good business for Cuba and very good business for America, for two countries.
Mostly for Cuba, cut off from Americans for so long, yet still preserving a deeply emotional part of American 20th century history.
This is a 53 Chevy, a half original engine, 3.6.
The vintage cars in Cuba recall a time of better relations between our two countries, and they are among the first thing you see in Havana. This Chevy has been in Rodolfo Galleo's family for 46 years and is one of 75,000 American classics still on Havana Street.
It's a very old car. This car has 62 years old, maybe have 2 million miles, maybe more.
And because it's in such good shape, Rodolfo can command $30 an hour to take tourists around the city. The average wage here is $20 a month. One of the places on the tour is the famous Floridita Bar and Restaurant, where legend says bartenders invented the daiquiri. Americans haven't been allowed here in more than 50 years, but author Ernest Hemingway never left. He's still at the end of the bar, and dozens of people snap pictures with him each day, next to a picture of him with a young Fidel Castro. Out on the street, there are a few pictures of Cuban socialist leaders and other propaganda. Billboards like this one declare the blockade the greatest genocide in history, and handbills and windows declare the revolution invincible, reminders of the politics that still divide us.
But despite the rhetoric, communist Cuba has become much more capitalist over the years. After the revolution, the government tightly controlled everything here. But starting in the mid-1990s, it allowed and even encouraged some people to start their own businesses.
And my food, the best. From Snow Light, I pay for everyone.
Juliet Bernal Carmenata works for a paladar.
My chef is the best chef in all Obispo, the best.
A privately owned restaurant where a complete meal with drinks and dessert costs about $15. The government licensed hundreds of them in Havana because the state-owned restaurants could no longer keep up with demand. Cubans run paladars out of their own homes, serving food in the living room and sleeping upstairs.
A los que no queremos es a los que son cubanos y nos tiran.
You say the American people love here in Cuba, and in Cuba love American people.
Others have licenses to rent rooms, so-called casa particulars marked around town by this tourist symbol. We stayed in one during our visit here. My room was simple, but clean and quiet, and a bargain at $30 a night, including breakfast. The kindness of the homeowner was free.
We like this period, and we know that will be better for our country, for your country. We are friends already.
But while some visitors to Cuba love it the way it is, others see potential for development. Starbucks, fast food, chain hotels.
Well, it wouldn't be the same, would it? So the Cuba is Cuba, that's why we are here.
Andres Rittnerson of Iceland says he and his wife rushed back to Cuba this year for one last trip, out of fear that American developers would soon start rushing in.
Then maybe Cuba will be just like Florida or something like that. Not have the same character as they have now.
But Cuban character is safe for the time being. While it is now easier for Americans to travel to Cuba, the blockade still keeps businesses, including those developers, out.
And tomorrow night we'll take a look at how Americans might soon impact Cuba's economy and who will be left out when they do. Also, we have some great web extras from our Cuba Rediscovered trip on our website, WTHR.com. It includes a couple of photo galleries, some of my favorite photos, along with some great shots from our photographer John Whalen in Havana. That's the difference between a photographer and a guy who takes pictures. John Whalen has some great shots there. And you'll find all of that under Cuba Rediscovered, a section of our website in Hot Topics.